Hello again, Misfits, and welcome to another 1-minute review. And in case you're wondering about how long this review is supposed to last, check with your doctor, because sometimes, if it goes too long, it's not good for you. So, this is Starship Captains by CGE Games. This is a Star Trek themed game, and it actually hit a lot of good spots for me and for a lot of people that I've taught it to and we've played with. So CGA puts out a lot of great games, by the way. Love those guys. They put a lot of games that have a lot of complexity to it, but are not overly complex to play. They usually have a lot of depth. And I've been dying for a good Starship game that isn't universe spanning like Ascendancy and some of those other bigger ones. And they kind of hit that good spot. First off, the game is gorgeous. They did a lot of good work with this game. Even the cardboard ships are nice looking. Would have liked minis maybe, but these actually work very well. And they have different sculpts for all the different characters. And you can see you got your little ensigns and different people. And they have different guy, girl sculpts for everything. So the components are great. But the gameplay itself is kind of simple. It is a point-based game, and you have a starship right here that you have your different crew members at. Now, the thing about this game is it's basically an action-based game. You're taking your crew members and they're doing one of two things with them. You're either sending them to these rooms. Now these rooms do different things and each one can only do a specific room. So for example, red can only go to red and blue could go to blue. However, all of them could go to the repair icon. They can all repair stuff. Apparently all of them can grab a futuristic socket wrench and just fix stuff for whatever reason. And then you have an ensign who's only good for the repair room. He's kind of like Wesley Crusher. He's good for one thing, and that's saving the day. In this game, repairing. Wesley Crusher saves the day, otherwise in next gen. So you basically, each round, you basically take these characters, put them in the room. Once they do their bit, they go back into this queue. And each one kind of works like that. And you're basically going to be moving your ship around. So the red moves the ship, the yellow blasts the pirates in the space lanes, and the blue gets you upgrades on your upgrade path here. Now, when you start the game, you have your little upgrade board. And these just give you extra either rooms or abilities basically for your ship. Now, if you notice, there's upgrades here, and you'll have upgrades that just give you a static ability, and then some of them are actually rooms, and they're color coded to the characters, and these will go on your boards once you put your blue character there, and they'll put them on your board here, and that's an extra room your character go to. So say you have your guys in the ready room here, you could take your yellow and put them into like an upgraded yellow room. And they all do different things. In this case, you trash a pirate, which I'll get to pirates later, to get these effects. So you upgrade your ship, you fly around the galaxy, and you're like, well, what am I supposed to do with these away missions? Because obviously there's different mission cards over here, and they're very important because actually they're a bulk of the scoring in the game. So while you're doing your thing and flying around and getting stuff, a lot of your points will come from these missions here. Now, if you notice, they all have kind of cute Star Trek theme, homages, basically, if you want to call it that. Underwater ruins, oil and crumpets, routine inspection, trade negotiations. Some of my favorite ones here remind me of Star Trek Next Gen episodes. So they really hit the theming perfectly on point, and it gives you that whole vibe that you're a Starship Captain flying around with your goofy crew. So you take your ship to a planet, you land it there. Now, once you go there, you're first come, first serve. Nobody else can mess with you while you're there. So they kind of remove the whole I have to rush and get it done before someone else. As long as you're there first, you're good, even if you can't get it done right away. Kind of helps. And actually, I think that's a good thing in this game. Once you're there, you take the away mission on your turn. You don't have to do anything in particular. The card just goes to your board here. And then you have these little beaming pads. And you take your characters that match the colors. Now, you gotta have at least one, but if you match all the colors, you basically get all the rewards listed. So you'll go down the list, and as long as the color matches, you'll get those rewards. Sometimes you'll take damage for it, but you'll get rewards. Now, what rewards are in this game? Well, outside of upgrading, you have two kinds of rewards. You have these artifacts, and you also have pirates. Now, pirates can get shot by your yellow gunner, or you just run through them and they give you damage. I'll get the damage in a minute. Pirates also basically give you a reward, and you keep them for rewards, as well as these artifacts you find along the way. Artifacts give you two different colors, and what happens is you can take two artifacts. As long as they have a single color that matches, you can use that color to do a free action from your action board right here. So for example, again, get rid of these two to do a yellow action for free without having to use one of your crew members. That's really cool. The pirates stay there. They're points at the end of the game. Sometimes you have goals because you do have goal cards that you can get to put into your tableau there for later on in the game, usually late game stuff. But pirates can also be sacrificed. They just sacrificed, discarded. We don't sacrifice pirates. We're very nice. We're the Federation, okay? You discard the pirates and basically it'll trigger other things. And you usually see notations on the board, like for example here, where if you get rid of a pirate, you get to upgrade your faction boards. So factions, that brings in factions here. What else are you wondering about the factions? So you have 3 factions here. You have a robot faction, you have the Federation, well, not the Federation in this, of course, and you have pirates. So anytime you get these icons with an arrow up and a color, you either upgrade that color. If it's white, you get to choose what board you want. So what's the point of that? Well, as you go around these boards, and then to put the cards in here, they will have different rewards in here. Not only as you go around the board, you'll get different rewards. So say upgrade it by 3, you'll go 1, 2, 3. At the end of the game, that gives you 1 point, but it also gives you a medal right away. I'll get the medals in a minute. As you go up the board, you'll get more and more rewards, including up to androids, which androids are basically wilds. They act as any crew member, but they're one shot. They go away after you use them. But you'll get different rewards, and at the end, you'll have an effect that'll trigger during the game once somebody makes a full lap around this board. And it's very cool because it gives you multiple things to kind of work towards. You can focus on trying to get a bunch of rewards, trying to get rewards from the different factions. There's quite a few other ways to score points, but you're definitely going to be doing a lot of away missions in this game without a doubt. Damage is interesting. So you start out with some damage on your board here, but your large part, after you clear that off, the only damage goes onto your ship. Now, if you notice there's these little explosion icons, this is damage. As you take damage, they fill up these slots on the board. That's a problem later on in the game because early on you're like, whatever, I've repaired it, I'm good. And you start putting your slots, because these are the only things that can hold artifacts and pirates. But you're going to start getting more of these and more of these and more of these, and it's going to start eating up your slots. And then once it fills up a slot, you can't put anything there, and if there's something there and you have no extra slots, you got to get rid of it. So you got to start repairing at some point, because every time you get these rewards that are very useful, you're going to have damage in there. So you're going to have to repair it at some point. Now, as you go along, you're also going to get these medals. These medals right here, you get from various boards and away missions. You use these medals to upgrade either your ensigns to a proper color, a proper station, as it were. So they're also used for upgrading these officers into actually commanders. So you take one of these white rings, and you get 5 of them at the beginning of the game because that's your limit. You put it over the officer. Now that adds an interesting effect. You basically can use these commanders to either double tap the room you're in, so basically it does the action twice, so it'll shoot twice or move 4 actually, or you can buy 2 upgrades, or you can actually move them into once they do their ability. If you don't want to double tap that ability, they can call in another officer of their color into the ready room. Now what that does is, and it's almost always used for, is that if you're going to drive around and go to do, say, a away mission, if you call in your extra member, they're able to go on that away mission, since this person won't be available anymore. So that's what it's for. It makes them very versatile, a lot more useful. So every round you're going to be driving around doing these actions. As you use these characters, they go back in this queue, except for the androids. And once this queue is full, once you're done doing everything, this moves forward, and it's going to leave 3 people in the queue, and the rest go back into your ready room to do the next round. And you do that over and over again. You're taking your actions, you're flying around the galaxy, refilling your queue. Each round, as this goes along, you're going to have extra ensigns on this board. I didn't lay them out, but usually you will have extra ensigns here always. And as you go along, you basically get extra crew members. So that kind of ups your actions, especially towards the late game. You'll have 2 or 3 more extra actions to do. And so you create this interesting kind of very loose but fun game. I mean, it's almost hard to describe because it's kind of got a little bit of everything in there, and nobody has this kind of cool action economy magic going on with this board over here. I actually really enjoyed it. It wasn't as complex as maybe some people might have liked out of like a command simulator, a Starship simulator, but I loved it because it didn't need to be complex. It captured all of the fun of watching like a next gen episode. You're flying around doing missions and shooting pirates without getting bogged down in, okay, what politics or what shield strength do I need? I mean, none of that silly stuff. It just basically boiled it down to the essence of what makes these kind of themes fun. And I managed to teach Misfit Tom. You got to play. We got to go through a game on the weekend, and you enjoyed it too, right? You liked it?
It was fun and fun.
Did you kind of what you expected?
Oh yeah, it felt like you were a crew on Next Generation.
Yeah, it has that very good vibe. It's a very not complex game. It looks like it has a lot going on, but there really isn't. And once you start going, it moves. I loved it. I absolutely loved this. CGE really knocked it out of the park with this one. I enjoyed it a lot. It's a solid 4. It's a very solid 4. Close to a 5. I would give it a 4 largely for just little stuff, nothing major. Mostly because I can't really describe it. This game, you know what? I might revise it to a 5 because I can't really think of any knocks on it. There's nothing really hitting me as a knocks. This game, if you love the Star Trek theme, maybe that was what I was thinking. If you don't like the Star Trek theme, because you really have to like Star Trek, like I can't see you not liking the theme and getting as heavy into this game. So maybe that would be what the 4 is for. So you kind of have to have that spacefaring theme.
Well, then let's give it a 5.
Let's just give it a 5. We're going to give it a 5. You heard it from me here. We're going to go with 5 because you really need, I mean, this game is just fun. It's as you put it, fun in a bun, and I'm not going to go back on that. This game has everything. So if you guys want a light spaceship themed game, pick it up. You will not go wrong. In fact, I don't think there's any other really game like it really around right now, especially spaceship theme. Not at all.
Oh, I love space games.
Yeah, I love space. Yeah, I love space games too. So guys, thanks again. Check this game out. I highly, highly, highly recommend it. It's something a family could play. It's something kind of anyone could play, and it has a very easy theme to love. Honestly, it's great. I hope maybe they make a sequel, maybe give you some more minis for the ships or something, and they can maybe add a little bit more to it, kind of like Arnak and stuff like that. But as it stands, as a starter for a game that they can evolve, it's perfect. So guys, thanks again. Don't forget to like and subscribe and all that good stuff, right? I was trying to think of a cool Star Trek themed thing to say.
Engage.
Live long and prosper.
That's good.
Right? There you go. Live long and prosper, guys.